Dobro Jutro, Divine Pisces, 222. It is Wednesday, December 18th, 2019. Going to do an energy check-in for Twin Flames today. I also want to thank everybody who's sent me stuff for my apartment. You guys are amazing. I went last night after work to drop off some stuff to the apartment, and there was like 7 or 8 boxes outside of my doors. So I can't express how grateful I am, so thank you very much. It's very heartwarming. So thank you. So first card we've got out today is Venus. So I'm still feeling some emotions, definitely kind of going back and forth. I feel definitely a lot of triggering of inner child wounds right now. I feel like heart chakras are opening, specifically with Divine Masculine. They're still kind of in that process of opening that up little bit by little bit. And it's like each time it opens up a little bit, it's just like more and more comes to the surface here. So that being said, Divine Feminine, you're probably feeling this again in the 5D, but you may also be experiencing your own triggers of past life karma, inner child wounds, and insecurities and things like that that are coming to the surface right now because of that, because there are triggers definitely going back and forth right now, okay? That being said, there's also a lot of sexual energy. I don't feel as much dark night of the soul as I just feel just triggers, okay? Towers, that sort of thing kind of happening right now. I do feel a lot of Divine Masculines are motivated to move within the connection, definitely, but to, of course, move out of toxic situations, which have been in the works for quite a while. Divine Feminine also feeling motivated to step up her game, I would say, as far as her healing goes. Really focusing on herself, focusing on her mission, and that sort of thing, right? Really embracing the spiritual side of things. Kind of going with the flow, really just kind of paying attention to signs and synchronicities as they come and kind of following them, using that intuition even more, and really learning to trust the process. And because of this, I do feel Divine Masculine is also starting to do the same. Like, a lot of Divine Masculines are really, really embracing their intuition right now. Like, they're starting to see the patterns. They're starting to see the signs that are leading them on this journey, basically, okay? And they still feel a little pulled in 2 different directions right now, but I feel like it's more, again, of a let's see what happens type of thing. So almost in a surrender stage, but really just kind of accepting things as they are right now and seeing how they go, which is a huge leap considering, the last week, Divine Masculine, actually masculine energies in general, trying to cling, and then realizing that they couldn't control what was happening, and so then they're just like, all right, well, I guess I'm just going to see what happens because I can't do anything about it. So really kind of in an acceptance sort of mind frame right now, accepting things as they are and trying not to fight it, and understanding that they need to work on themselves and figure out what's for their highest good. And this is just masculine energies in general, not just Divine Masculine, okay? I know this is definitely true with my karmic. My karmic is kind of in acceptance mode at this point, fighting, and then he's like, all right, like, I can't do anything about it, so, and he's starting to understand, the point of this, and starting to actually work on himself, which is exactly the point of anybody's journey, okay? And I actually had an insight, I just want to share this, I had an insight about my karmic is actually, pretty sure my karmic is actually a Divine Feminine. So, which is interesting, right? But yeah, so Divine Masculine really stepping into themselves at this point. Really kind of coming out of the darkness, really starting to embrace the awakenings that are happening, because they realize they can't really fight it anymore. They can't really fight what Source is telling them to do, or showing them what they need to do, or telling them what's happening right now, okay? So they're really starting to embrace this. And Divine Feminine, I feel a lot of Divine Feminines have kind of stepped away from the connection as of right now because they're focusing on themselves, because they recognize the cycles within Divine Masculine that need to be healed, okay? And so now what's happening with that is Divine Masculine's also recognizing that, right? Because it's mirrored, right? So, but that being said, there's still some ego kind of coming in here. A little bit of ego. Definitely, again, feeling some towers. Divine Masculine probably going through some towers. And I don't feel it's quite as bad or as intense as it was. It's more aha moments at this point. Like I said, I don't really feel that much dark night of the soul right now. Although it could still be. They could still be emerging from that. But I'm still feeling a little bit of a battle with the ego right now. But again, it's like divine masculine kind of returning loyalty again to himself and to the journey and to the path that is before him, right? And going with the flow with that. Some of them might actually be seeing it as more of like an adventure or a challenge that they're wanting to take on at this point. So again, like just a motivation to move, motivation to change, because they're starting to understand that the change has to happen from within first before it can happen externally, right? It's all about the energy. Okay, let's see what's going on with divine masculine today. Yeah. Oh yeah. Triggers. So yeah, triggers going back and forth right now for sure. But like I said, sexual energy very, very high right now as well. And I've got at least 2 6s here, so that's interesting. So yeah, mirroring going on right now with that. So triggering going back and forth. Don't feel it's bad triggers necessarily. Just, some insecurities kind of coming to the surface. Definitely not as intense as it was, okay? I do feel possibly some communication for some of you still coming in. It may be kind of hot or cold. It might be back and forth. It might be touch and go, and it could trigger you. But that being said, I mean, I do feel divine masculine is definitely in that energy of making a choice to move forward right now. And so is divine feminine. So that's another reason, or another way that it's being mirrored right now, right? Because divine masculine, again, is recognizing an uneven exchange here. Recognizing an uneven exchange within themselves, within the karmic situation, and with divine feminine, okay? And they don't want to do that anymore. They just don't. They don't want to do it anymore. Okay, they don't want to be codependent. They want to stand in their power. They don't want to need anybody, right? They definitely don't want to be sneaking around the truth anymore, because most of them have actually, believe it or not, fully embraced their truth within themselves. They just haven't integrated it yet. But they're getting to the point where they just don't want to hide it anymore. They don't want to sneak around the karmic situation. They don't want to walk on eggshells around the karmic if they have a karmic partner or a job or whatever. They don't want to do it anymore. Some of them that are, addicted, they don't want to hide the addiction anymore. They want to get help. So they're making that decision that is for their highest good right now. And they're still carrying this 3 of Swords right now. So there's still a little bit of heartache coming in, like I said, with Venus coming in. And, earlier in the reading where there's a lot of emotion kind of coming up, a lot of triggers, insecurities and stuff like that. So they're still kind of carrying that around. But they've made the decision to let a lot of it go at this point, okay? Because it just doesn't serve them and they don't want to stay in that toxicity anymore, right? And they are learning from the towers. They are starting to recognize the towers when they hit. It's like they'll be like, all right, I'm good. And then something will hit and they'll be like, okay, well, why did this happen? Okay, this is breaking this down. Maybe not in so many words, but it's like they're starting to figure out that each time they get to a place where they feel stuck, or they don't want to move, maybe they don't want to make a decision, something happens to force them to make a decision, and they're starting to recognize the towers when they come, right? They're also starting to recognize the triggers, specifically with the connection itself, okay? And specifically with, I feel still a lot of them are in their heads about the connection itself, but mainly about the catalyst. I'm feeling like a lot of them are still kind of going over a lot of things that have happened within the connections, but specifically with the catalyst moment, okay, that kind of started this entire thing, okay? So keep that in mind. But this is definitely on their minds right now, okay? But yeah, I definitely feel like these towers that they've been hitting definitely is kind of forcing them to take a look at the connection in a completely different perspective than they were, right? And to make choices in karmic situations, or in their, whatever it is, if there's a third party situation, that sort of thing, to make a decision. And And I feel like there is success definitely happening. There's movement happening within Divine Masculine, specifically within themselves and in their connections, or in their situations, but also within the connection. So yay! Alright, Divine Feminine. Let's see what's going on with you. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Divine Feminine's like, nope, no more. And again, some of Divine Feminines have disconnected from the connection with their counterpart right now, because they were feeling stagnant. They were feeling stuck within the connection. Like they felt like the connection wasn't moving, so they started focusing on themselves, right? And that's exactly what you're supposed to do, right? If you don't see success in the connection, stop focusing on the connection. And I've said that before. Okay, focus on yourself. Focus on why you're feeling stuck, where you're feeling stuck, and how you need to move forward in your own truth and integrate your own truth within your life, right? I still feel a lot of Divine Feminines are wearing facades. Okay, there's still a lot of deception going back and forth. Okay, it's not just Divine Masculine. Divine Feminine's doing this too. Okay, Divine Feminines, you know, a lot of them are fake it till you make it. You know, they're putting on this front that they're strong, that they're independent and stuff, and they may be, but there's still insecurities coming to the surface, and they're still trying to hide those. So insecurities come to the surface. Don't hide them. You just deal with them and you move on. Okay. So that being said, I feel like there's a little bit of ego still coming in with Divine Feminine. It's almost like she just doesn't want to appear. She doesn't want to appear vulnerable anymore. So it's like she's putting on this face to the world that she's good, she's calm, she's collected. When inside she you know, there's doubt coming in, there's fear coming in, right? There's you know, I feel some manipulation within some karmic situations with Divine Feminine as well. And it could be why, you know, some Divine Feminines are putting on a happy face, because it's like they're trying to deflect that, you know. And that's understandable, you know, trying to disconnect energetically, not trying to react to situations that are toxic, just trying to basically put her guard up so that she can kind of find that inner peace until she can actually remove herself or release the karmic situation as it is. Okay, so but keep in mind, you know, you still want to speak your truth as much as possible, even to your karmic situation. Okay, so yeah, keep that in mind. But I definitely feel cycles are ending still with Divine Feminine within herself mainly. I feel codependent cycles are definitely ending with Divine Feminine, and that's a big one, right? That's a really big one. So things are definitely moving, like I said before, within the connections and within each twin. Things are definitely moving for each twin right now. And again, Divine Feminine is just, you know, focusing on planting her seeds, focusing on the now. You know, she's planted all her seeds, and she's planted the seeds for the future, but she's not focusing on the future. She's not focusing on what has yet come in. She's focusing on what she has now, and focusing on what she has accomplished to this point. Okay? And that's good. So still kind of in that go with the flow energy, right? Learning to fill her cup, learning to guard her cup so that she doesn't feel drained, right? Because a lot of Divine Feminines had been feeling drained for a really long time. And so Divine Feminine is just, at this point, I feel in a fairly solid place. There's still some insecurities coming up. There's still some purging that needs to happen, obviously. But I feel like, again, like, and I know that this is true for me, but if you take a look at where you are now versus where you were before you even started this journey, guarantee you see abundance, right? You see growth, you see transformation, you're a completely different person, probably, right? You're just not the same person as you were before all of this started, right? Because a lot of Divine Feminines were also in the energy of an uneven exchange, you know, giving themselves situations that were draining them, not getting anything in return. And Divine Feminine was sick of it, so she stopped, right? All right, so messages from the counterparts. So yeah, some Divine Feminine is still kind of battling with the ego right now, but, you know, it'll pass, guys. Yeah, a lot of astral communication, I feel. A lot of 5D communication, for real. A lot of insecurities coming up. I feel like the connections, like the pull, is very, very intense right now. Probably feeling it in your heart chakra. Yeah, and some of them are still reaching out for help in the 5D. But it's like they're seeing that you're doing what you need to do, so it is helping them, believe it or not. They may not see it that way yet. They may not see it that way yet, but it is helping them turn a corner. So keep doing what you're doing, Divine Feminine. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, so this is interesting because I feel like Divine Feminine's kind of getting into an energy where she can differentiate. She can actually discern which energy is hers and which isn't. Okay? And that's not just with your counterpart, but with anybody. So, like, if you're an empath, which most of us are, sometimes you can't really tell what's your energy and what is somebody else's energy if you're around them. Like, I know I'm a severe empath. Like, I can't go to malls. Like, it's really hard for me to go to malls unless I actually actively protect myself. Because it's overstimulating, because I feel everything. Like, as soon as I walk in that door, it's just like, whew, and then I get in, like, this really spaced out headspace where I can't focus on anything. Like, I'm literally feeling like I'm walking through a dream. Okay, so I feel like Divine Feminine is getting to the point where she can actually start discerning what is her emotion and what isn't, and that's good. But Divine Feminine definitely setting boundaries with this, just in general, but also with herself and with her situation, with maybe with your Divine Masculine. And Divine Masculine is doing this too. Divine Masculine is actually learning to set boundaries. You know, a lot of them for a long time didn't think they could do that. You know, those expectations where they had to be a certain way and they couldn't say certain things, they couldn't stand up for themselves. You know, whatever. They're kind of coming out of that and learning to set those boundaries, right? And learning to find that inner bliss, right? To raise the vibration, to get themselves out of this darkness that they've been in for so long. And Divine Feminine, you know, you're still kind of in this mode of finding that bliss, finding that happiness. And a lot of you have found it, you know, and so you're refocusing on that and bringing that vibration up, which is helping the connections to move forward, right? And finding that inner balance, which is incredibly, incredibly important. So finding that inner balance, finding that inner peace, going with it, going with the flow, really, and just kind of seeing what unfolds right before you. And that's actually the best part of the journey, is you don't really know what's going to happen, so you just kind of like let it go, and then things just happen, and you're like, yeah, all right, this is good, right? But I do feel a lot of twins like really growing in their wisdom, their spiritual wisdom, not just Divine Feminine. I feel this is happening for Divine Masculine too. They're really reaching for it at this point. They're reaching for something that's higher than themselves right now. You know, and learning to trust the process and learning to trust Source, you know, or God, or whatever it is that they call it, right? So it's going all around. It's going between the twins right now. I feel a lot of good energies coming in today. I feel a lot of balance coming. Like, these shifts that are happening are really, really interesting. Because I know there for a while it was really, really heavy, and then it was fine, and then it was heavy again. But now it's just like, it feels good, right? It feels good. Alright, well, I hope this helped. If it has, please like, share, subscribe, and I guess I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.